WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Thanks for joining us for this special March Madness edition of WCBI News. A controversial move to include $2 million in a bill for students with special education needs is approved on the last day of the legislative session. Some lawmakers say adding that money into a special project list was a tricky move.
However, some of those pet projects will help some North Mississippi towns. $500,000 is allocated for the Terry Brown Amphitheater in Columbus. That's well short, though, of the amount needed to complete the job. A bill that would have added an additional 1% tax on Columbus restaurant bills for the amphitheater died in the legislature. The Tupelo Symphony will get $50 grand. Also in the bill, money will go to the Create Foundation for renovations to First Christian Church in Amory.
Road improvements were also in the legislation. West Point will receive $500,000 to help repair West Churchill Road. Okolona, Sugarlock, and Etowah County also got the same amount for road improvement projects. Oxford will get $750,000 for an interchange improvement at Highway 7 and University Avenue. Mississippi University for Women's campus will soon have a different feel and look. Renovations are underway and some buildings will be torn down.
Our Riley Livingston takes a look at the renovation plans taking place at the W. She joins us live from campus with more on it. Riley.
President Nora Miller took a group of alums on a trip around campus this morning. For many of these former students, it'll be the last time they see some of the buildings like this one. Mississippi University for Women is changing. More students and changing technology are fueling the growth around campus. The W's president, Nora Miller, says it's time.
We have to continue to meet our student needs and demands, and we have a beautiful campus. We have a lot of historic buildings that require a lot of love and care and money to keep up with, and we need to make sure that they function in a modern world the way that we're supposed to.
And matching the modern world is what MUW plans to do. Some of their majors are bringing in more people, and that means classrooms need to adapt. Taylor and Kern dorm buildings will be torn down to make room for a new culinary arts facility.
We only have one kitchen right now, so we have over 100 culinary arts majors, and it's really tricky to schedule classes and to schedule projects and demonstrations. So we need more kitchens, we need a demonstration kitchen, we need a place where we can have events to really showcase what they're doing.
The project could get some extra help from the state.
And the bond bill that the legislature has before them right now includes almost $6.7 million, which will be the first phase of that project.
And it's not just educational buildings getting an upgrade. Changes for athletics are also on the playing field.
We've got some plans in the works for a baseball field, and so that will probably be the next thing that we're going to see.
Carla Ayers graduated in 1986. Since then, she has seen the university evolve.
I like it. Change is hard for a lot of people. A lot of people don't like change because it means things are changing, and sometimes that's sad. But I like it because I think it's moving forward, and it's exciting that the school is here and still vibrant.
Mississippi legislature is planning on borrowing $270 million under Senate Bill 3065. That will include $6.6 million for the W for their culinary facility. Reporting live on the W's campus in Columbus, Riley Livingston, WCBI News.
And it is time now to get a first look at our forecast on this Friday. We'll turn things over to Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson. Happy Friday, Keith.
TGIF, it is here, a great Friday. Look at all the sunshine, some friendly clouds. Our time lapse there from Durham's Pharmacy in Vernon. Temperatures currently in the low and mid 70s, a great Friday afternoon. Now, we've noticed the clouds increasing today. There's some rain back to the west, but that is likely not going to survive. That little disturbance is weakening. The air is still pretty dry around here. So cloud cover this evening, yes. Rain, probably not. Now, tomorrow, a few gusty late day storms are possible. A good chunk of the first half of the day, not too active. Warm, we are in the 70s again for our Saturday, turning colder on Sunday, and there's actually a frost or freeze threat across parts of the region by early Monday. We'll have your full forecast coming up.
More than 700 athletes are in Tupelo today showing physical and intellectual disabilities can't keep them off the field. The Area 11 Special Olympics track and field competition was at Tupelo High. Athletes of all ages compete in relay races, soccer drills, long jump, wheelchair races, and other events. It's an opportunity for athletes to showcase their skills and determination.
I love it because it can give me a reason to be feeling good about myself.
I like being out here with my friends and having fun and competing against other competitors.
Winners in the meet advance to the state games later this spring.
Special Olympics relies on funding from many sources, including the Department of Education. Earlier this week, you may remember Education Secretary Betsy DeVos proposed cutting funding for Special Olympics, but the president says that Special Olympics will be funded. Special Olympics serves thousands of people throughout North Mississippi, and the state's executive director says people on all sides of the political aisle realize the importance of continued funding.
All state chapters do a really good job of securing the majority of their funding locally within their state. The Department of Education funding is specifically designated towards our Unified Champion Schools programming, where you see students with and without intellectual disability competing in sports, serving on student councils, the goal being whole school engagement and complete inclusion.
Special Olympics received $17.6 million in public funding this year.
Social workers from across North Mississippi are trying to stop violence against children. The annual Stop the Hurt Kickoff Festival in Tupelo gives community groups an opportunity to share information about their services with the public. They did that today. The public it's held once a week before the annual Stop the Hurt conference, where social workers and other professionals learn about ways to better protect children. Organizers say it's important for people to know signs of potential abuse and report anything suspicious.
Of course, physical abuse is, there's physical indicators of that. There's also emotional abuse and sexual abuse that we also, physical neglect. Those are all the things that we have to assess.
April is National Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month.
It's the final weekend for the public to visit the Tupelo Auto Museum before all of these cars go to auction. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
Watching WCBI News at 6 with Andrea Self and Joey Barnes.
Welcome back. If you've wanted to visit the Tupelo Automobile Museum, this weekend will be your last chance.
It will close its doors after Sunday. The vehicles will be auctioned next month. Our Allie Martin visited the museum one last time.
On the final Friday, the Tupelo Automobile Museum was open to the public. A class from Heritage Academy was looking at the collection spanning more than 100 years of automobile history.
I think my grandma used to drive some.
Business has been steady since the announcement was made that the Auto Museum would close. The museum was the dream of broadcast entrepreneur Frank Spain, who began collecting cars in 1974. The Auto Museum opened in 2002, featuring Spain's vast collection of more than 170 cars. There are some rarities, including a 1948 Tucker. Only 51 were made, none were ever sold. There is also a Duesenberg, but after more than 16 years, the museum could no longer sustain itself. It will all be auctioned off in late April.
You know, the public doesn't exactly visit museums the way they used to. The younger generation doesn't quite have the fascination with cars as some of the previous, and so as attendance drew down, the costs don't change. The utility costs and insurance and all of those things continue on regardless of how many people you have walking through the door.
The Tucker and Duesenberg are expected to fetch top dollar, and whatever the other vehicles bring at auction, all the proceeds will go to a nonprofit educational foundation.
It will not just be localized in Tupelo, but it'll offer opportunities for people all over the world.
While visitors say it's sad the museum is closing, they say it's good the cars will have new homes and money raised will go to charity.
I'm very sad this should be kept together. I mourn the loss of it. Collection like this. No one will ever do this again.
Something like this I really wanted to come and see, but I put it off and put it off, and seeing it was closed, and I says, we got to do this. And it's been great. It's just great seeing all this.
The auction takes place April 25th through the 27th. The building is owned by the Frank Spain Educational Foundation, and it will be sold sometime after the auction. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
The Tupelo Automobile Museum has extended hours this weekend. More information is on our website, wcbi.com.
In Tupelo right now at 5:43, we have some overcast conditions for the next 24 hours, down into the upper 50s tonight, some 60s this evening, and back into the 70s tomorrow. I'm back with your weekend forecast after the break. Stay tuned.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Closing out the work week on a great note, our Alpenturns time lapse downtown Columbus, looking back to the west this afternoon. Some of those clouds coming on in. It looks like it wants to rain. Most likely not this evening. Better chances for that as we get into tomorrow afternoon and evening. Currently 74 at the base, 73 in Starkville, 71 in Winona, 70 in Oxford. And here's our radar. No rain right now. We zoom in down out here to southeastern Arkansas. There's Greenville. It looks like there's a little bit of shower activity trying to fall from those clouds. Perhaps a little bit of that actually is still reaching the ground, but this disturbance is weakening. It's moving our way, and the air is still pretty dry around here at the lowest level. So we don't really anticipate any problems going into this evening. Lows tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies, mid to upper 50s. So a mild night relative to where we have been, and where we will actually go tomorrow night and Sunday night. Now let's talk about your Saturday. 60s in the morning, 10 o'clock, 67 by 173, mid to upper 70s at 4. Rain chances will start to increase as we get into the mid to late afternoon, but a good chunk of the morning and early afternoon, not too active around here. Widespread 70s across our Saturday. Winds from the south and southwest 10 to 20, a bit breezy at times. Notice how that disturbance to our west just fizzles this evening. And as we get into tomorrow morning, some cloud cover, yes, and there may be a passing shower in the morning or the afternoon, but widespread heavy rain, very unlikely during the course of the morning into the afternoon. That does include thunder, too. Now, by 4, 5, 6 o'clock, a front will come on in from the northwest. A narrow line of activity will start to go right along the front. So we don't really expect a lot of those pop-up storms or showers out ahead of it. It's right along that boundary with the front. That's where we will maximize the best chance for rain. Perhaps some isolated strong storms with a damaging wind potential, maybe a little bit of hail, but this does not look like a prolific severe weather event by any means whatsoever here. That activity will slip to our southeast by late evening. The sky will clear out as we get into our Sunday. It will be cooler and breezy on Sunday. Rain potential with this system anywhere from about 1/3 of an inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch. Let's just say less than an inch as we go throughout the course of our weekend. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. We're looking at 70s tomorrow, 50 for 50s, 58 Sunday, 62 Monday, 68 Tuesday, but those lows early Monday, early Tuesday may get down into the 30s again, so some chilly weather to start next week. We have some showers and storms that will be possible by the end of next week, Thursday and Friday.
Well, in just a couple of hours, this is the place that Mississippi State will be stepping out and onto the hardwood in hopes of advancing to yet another Elite Eight. I have more coming on that next in sports. Stick with us.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel is brought to you by your local Ford dealers. Go further.
It's game day in Portland. We're still a few hours away from the tip-off of the Sweet 16 matchup between Mississippi State and Arizona State. But to get you ready for game day, WCBI Sports' Courtney Robb joins us live from the City of Roses with a preview of the matchup. Courtney?
Hey, Tom, and welcome back to a much better look at the Moda Center. This is where Mississippi State, in just a couple of hours, like you mentioned, will be taking the court and looking and competing in its fourth consecutive Sweet 16. Now, yesterday, ESPN released its predictions of who will be continuing through the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight and advancing on to the Final Four. Mississippi State making that list, not exactly a surprise given the amount of dominance that the Bulldogs have had, not only in the regular season, but as well in the postseason in this NCAA tournament. Mississippi State currently leading the nation in scoring margin at plus 29.1. And Mississippi State knows that if they want to advance, they got to keep humble and remain calm and just take care of business here in Portland today.
We've certainly been challenged all throughout the year. I think any of the games that you see where we may have won with a little bit of a cushion just, I think, speaks to maybe one run during the game where you were able to get away. I mean, we played Tennessee in the regular season, and it was tied late in the third quarter before we, separate ourselves in winning that game. So every game comes down to a run.
Know what we have to do, because I think more than anything, everybody wants that rematch Sunday, and we just know we got to go out there and do our thing Friday so we can get that rematch with Sunday.
I wouldn't say it's too hard. We all just take it one step at a time. Coach makes sure that we don't look past any opponent, no matter who they are.
Now, the Bulldogs were blessed, if you could say that, with the earlier game today. That game happening at 6 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be 8 p.m. Central time. You'll have to keep up with WCBI Sports, even though it may be a little bit past your bedtime as well as mine, to find out the final results. We'll have a recap and everything coming up for you tonight later on for our delayed newscast, whenever that's going to take place. But reporting here in Portland, Oregon, Courtney Robb for WCBI Sports. Tom, I'll send it back to you in Columbus.
Thank you, Courtney. As Courtney mentioned, after March Madness is when you'll be able to get your women's basketball update right here on WCBI Sports. But switching gears to football, a month away from the NFL draft, the state of Mississippi shining leading up to the big day. Today was Ole Miss's day to show out in a big-time job interview. 17 Rebels shining in front of NFL scouts for its pro day. All eyes on the NWO. Wide receivers A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and DeMarcus Lodge getting most of the attention, as well as offensive lineman Greg Little, who's projected as a first-round pick. At this stage of the game, everyone's comparing A.J. or DK, but both of the projected first-round receivers say they're keeping their relationship razor tight.
He's a special guy. I mean, he's big, he's fast, man. That comes once in a lifetime. I would never talk down on DK. I would never do that. He's a special guy. He's going to play a long time in the NFL. He's blessed, especially after everything he's been through, They couldn't get me to say anything bad about him. Man.
Me and AJ competed everything we do. We're two different people on the field, but that's my brother off the field, and I know he's always got my back. And AJ's a great player, and we just competed everything we do, and that brings the best out of both of us.
They definitely feed off each other. So if one person's having a bad day, the other person's there to pick them up. And if they're both having a good day, then it's a good day for everybody. And they're just that close to each other, and I can see the connection between them two, and just being the next best receiver core to go in the NFL draft. So I'm excited for them.
A last look at weather next.
WCBI's NCAA tournament coverage of the MSU Bulldogs in Portland, Oregon is brought to you by Visit Columbus, the city that has it all. Monroe County Farm Bureau, Columbus Orthopedic Clinic and Outpatient Center, Aberdeen RV, family owned, family focused, and Bank First, a better way to bank.
Well, you could call this Food for Thought. An event at Shannon High School celebrates creative culinary critiques of students' favorite books. It's called the Edible Book Festival. Middle and high school students and even local residents make edible books based on their favorite reads. Entries today included Frozen, Dr. Seuss, The Great Gatsby, and many others. The festival is a popular way to promote reading and eating.
Well, it's just a different way to get folks excited about books. And then they can think about books in a different way, but it gets folks excited about reading.
And the winners today received awards at the end of the competition, and then the guests got to sample all the entries.
Are those trophies shaped like turkeys?
I don't know.
All right, well, some storms tomorrow, but Michigan State, ooh, that's coming up next. Stay tuned for that.
Enjoy the games.
It'll be on in the weather also.